Hello viewers. Welcome to Seek Wisdom. First of all, we thank you for playing out this video. Today we present you the summary of the book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind, written by Vishen Lakhiani. This book challenges conventional ideas of relationships, goal setting, mindfulness, happiness and meaning. To avoid any compromise on quality, the duration of video is a bit longer. Hope you like it. Let's get started. We all have heard about being extraordinary. But it does not happen by chance, or through hard work, or through a unique set of skills. There is actually a methodology that anyone can employ that will catapult your life into the realm of the extraordinary. That methodology is referred here as the code. This book provides 10 such codes, which have been tested and worked for hundreds of thousands of people to become extraordinary. This book is divided into 4 parts. Each part looks at a different level of the code and represents an expansion of your state of awareness. Part 1 is living in the culture's cape, how you were shaped by the world around you. Part 2 is the awakening, the power to choose your version of the world. Part 3 is recoding yourself, transforming your inner world. Part 4 is becoming extraordinary. Changing the world. These 4 parts represent a gradual expansion of your levels of awareness of who you are and just what you're capable of. Starting with part 1. Humans have the ultimate dominant because of our use of language. Language allowed us to organize groups of people, to create and teach practices and habits, and it allowed us to create a whole new world within our heads. Language became the building blocks to culture. These guidelines for living, developed and passed on through language, eventually evolved into the rules that govern our cultures. The darker side to this is, we got so focused on our rules that we turned them into decrees about how life should be and label people or processes as good or bad if they don't follow the rules. We've been living in 2 worlds ever since. There's the physical world of absolute truth. This world contains things we're all likely to agree on. But there's also the world of relative truth. It's the mental world of ideas, constructs, concepts, models, myths, patterns, and rules that we've developed and passed from generations. This is relative truth because these ideas are true only for a particular culture or tribe. The problem is, much of them are long past their expiration dates. This world of relative truth is referred in this book as the culture's cape. Once you understand that the rules of this relative truth aren't absolute, you can learn to think outside the box and live beyond limits imposed by the culture's cape. Realizing this puts you in the driver's seat. You can use your own mind to deconstruct the beliefs, systems, and rules you've been living with. What separates extraordinary individual from ordinary is that they all question their culture's cape. Their willingness to break away from the culture's cape has resulted in innovations and new beginnings that will shift the future of humanity. Here comes the first law. Transcend the culture's cape. Extraordinary minds are good at seeing the culture's cape, and are able to selectively choose the rules and conditions to follow versus those to question or ignore. Questioning many rules of the culture's cape will not be easy. While breaking away from the rules may indeed feel scary, the dips contain amazing learnings and wisdom that lead to sharper rises in the quality of life afterward. So, you will need to brave the momentary pain of these dips. But before you can challenge the rules of the culture's cape, you have to identify the limiting rules that might be holding you back. In the culture's cape, all the ideas we hold dear, like our identity, our religion, our beliefs, are nothing more than mental constructs we've chosen to believe. Many of which are merely opinions drilled into us as children and accepted by the culture we grew up in. These mental constructs can change, pivot, expand, and shrink as human cultures, ideologies, and opinions collide, dance, and clash with each other. Here author has coined a term, rules, which means a bullshit rule that we adopt to simplify our understanding of the world. We follow hundreds of rules. It's not all bad, it's just that many of us need help realizing that it's not all good, either. It's time to uninstall what isn't working. Extraordinary people think differently, and they don't let their society's rules stop them from advocating for a better world for themselves. Neither should you. It all starts with one thing: questioning your inherited beliefs, which brings us to second law: question the rules. Extraordinary minds question the rules when they feel those rules are out of alignment with their dreams and desires. Apply the 5-question rule test for a reality check and decide whether it's a rule you want to live by or a rule you want to bust. Question 1. Is it based on trust and hope in humanity? If a rule is based on negative assumptions about humanity, question it. Question 2. Does it violate the golden rule? The golden rule is to do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Question 3. Did I take it on from culture or religion? Is it a belief in a particular way of life or a rule about a very particular habit, such as a way of eating or dressing? If so, it's probably a cultural or religious rule. If it bothers you, you don't have to follow it. Question 4. Is it based on rational choice or contagion? Is it benefiting your life, or have you just never thought about doing things differently? Are they holding you back? If so, try to understand them and question them. Question 5. Does it serve my happiness? Place your happiness first. Only when you're happy can you truly give your best to others, in society, in relationships, in your family and community. When you start hacking your life in this way, you gain a new sense of power and control. With it comes accountability and responsibility for your actions. Here starts second part of book, The Awakening. Once you start questioning the rules of culture's cape, your awareness will expand. The more your awareness expands, the more you will grow. And the more you grow, the more extraordinary your life will become. Here author introduces another term, consciousness engineering. It is your tool for influencing the world and creating your own growth. It is an interface between you and the culture's cape around you. This consciousness engineering boils down to 2 things. First is your models of reality. If consciousness engineering is operating system, models of reality is the hardware. These are your beliefs about the world. Though your beliefs make you, your beliefs are not you. Use consciousness engineering to swap out old beliefs, swap in new ones, and take on new understandings of the world that might serve you better. Use rule test to swap out obsolete rules. This way, you're upgrading your hardware so your operating system works optimally. Second is your systems for living. This is the software for consciousness engineering. Your habits, or systems for living, are how you put your models of reality into practice. They're your activities and daily habits, for example, how you eat, how you work. Systems of living are easy to acquire. You can always learn new ones. The problem is that our industrial age school system hasn't done a very good job of keeping us up to date with the best systems for functioning in the world. Here comes the third law. Practice consciousness engineering. Extraordinary minds understand that their growth depends on 2 things, their models of reality and their systems for living. They carefully curate the most empowering models and systems and frequently update themselves. Consciousness engineering works best when applied in a holistic way across our lives. In order to do that, we need to understand 2 things. First, we need to identify the key areas of our lives where we can apply consciousness engineering, and second, we need to pinpoint which of those areas could use some rebalancing. There are 12 areas of balance. Each area influences and shapes you in an important way. These 12 areas are your love relationship, your friendships, your adventures, your environment, your health and fitness, your intellectual life, your skills, your spiritual life, your career, your creative life, your family life, your community life. For each category, rate your life on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being very weak and 10 being extraordinary. This small exercise provided you with areas where you'd like to improve. Take it as a baseline from which to begin your journey toward the extraordinary. Our models of reality lie below the surface. Often we do not realize we have them until some intervention or contemplative practice makes us aware. Much of moving toward the extraordinary is really about becoming aware of the models of reality that you carry with you without realizing it. The first step is to discover how we take on these models. When a model of reality changes, the way you operate in the world changes, too. Quite often, we carry disempowering models of reality that we inherited as far back as childhood. When you replace disempowering models of reality with empowering ones, tremendous changes can occur in your life at a very rapid pace. This brings us to the fourth law. Rewrite your models of reality. Extraordinary minds have models of reality that empower them to feel good about themselves and powerful in shifting the world to match the visions in their minds. Under the age of 9, we're particularly susceptible to making false meanings and then clinging to them as disempowering models of reality. While we work to clear our own limiting models, it's crucial to also make sure that we're not saddling our children with models that are disempowering. Here are 2 exercises that will work just as well for adults as they do for kids. Try it on your kids, or yourself, each night before going to bed. First is the gratitude exercise. Take a few minutes and think of 3 to 5 things you're grateful for today. Second is the what I love about myself exercise. Think about a quality or an action of yours that made you proud today. Thus far we've looked at internal models of reality, models. Now coming to external models of reality, which are just as powerful in our lives. Your external models of reality are the beliefs you have about the world around you. Examine your models of reality in the 12 areas of balance. In your love relationship, how do you define love? What do you expect from a love relationship, both to receive and to give? In your friendships, how do you define friendship? Do you believe that friendships can be long-lasting? In your adventures, what's your idea of an adventure? Is it about travel? Physical activity? In your environment, where do you feel happiest? Are you content with where and how you live? In your health and fitness, how do you define physical health? How do you define healthy eating? In your intellectual life, how much are you learning? How much are you growing? In your skills, what do you consider something you're good at? And what not so much? Where did those perceptions come from? In your spiritual life, what type of spiritual values do you believe in? How do you practice them and how often? In your career, what is your definition of work? How do you define a career? In your creative life, do you believe that you are creative? Is there a creative person you admire? In your family life, what do you believe is your main role as a life partner? In your community life, do you share the values of the communities that you're a part of? After doing the exercise above, you should have some idea of the models of reality you need to upgrade. Bad models can evaporate through sudden realizations, or through meditation, inspirational reading, or other mindfulness practices, and asking yourself, where did I come up with this particular worldview? A system for living is a repeated, optimized pattern for getting things done. Our work, our parenting, our exercise routine, all often fall into specific systems for living. After our models of reality, they're the second aspect of consciousness engineering that allows you to advance your human potential and step into the extraordinary. But problem is, most of us are using systems that have long become obsolete. When you swap outdated models of reality for empowering ones and pair them with new, your life will improve exponentially and fast. There's a 3-step method for effectively upgrading your systems for living. 1. The discovery process. Many people discover new systems from books, conferences, or online courses. 2. Your refresh rate. Your refresh rate is how often you upgrade your systems for living. 3. Set points and measurement. How effective are your systems for living? Is your new system for living really better than a previous one? A set point is a level of performance that you do not allow yourself to slip below. Set points are that detection method that will avoid slipping of things. This brings us to 5th law. Upgrade your systems for living. Extraordinary minds consistently spend time discovering, upgrading, and measuring new systems for living applied to life, work, heart, and soul. Here starts third part of book. Recoding yourself. Here we'll look at your present and your future, and we'll focus on your inner world with all its conflicting habits, beliefs, emotions, desires, and ambitions. Answer 2 questions at this stage. What exactly is happiness, and how can I be happy in the present? What are my goals and visions for the future? Because when you're happy in the present moment and pulled forward by a vision for the future, your inner and outer worlds mesh seamlessly. Author calls this as bending reality. Have big goals, but don't tie your happiness to your goals. You must be happy before you attain them. Be happy in the present. There's no point dwelling in the past or the future. Think of happiness in the now and vision for the future as 2 ingredients that can be combined, but that have to be in balance. When you're in this state, there's a feeling of growth and enjoyment. It's about the journey as well as the destination. This brings us to the 6th law. Bend reality. Extraordinary minds are able to bend reality. They have bold and exciting visions for the future, yet their happiness is not tied to these visions. They are happy in the now. This balance allows them to move toward their visions at a much faster rate while having a ton of fun along the way. One should know that happiness is under our control. Here author introduces another term, blisscipline, the discipline of daily bliss. It combines spiritual mastery with a real-world desire to meet your goals and make your intentions come true. We don't generally spend too long at the very top or the very bottom of our emotional spectrum. Studies show that each of us has a particular level of happiness that we tend to return to after things happen, good or bad. Researchers call this phenomenon hedonic adaptation. But research has found that our happiness is hackable. You can actually raise your happiness level to experience higher levels of happiness every day of your life, too, no matter what is going on around you. Here are 3 blisscipline systems to do that. First is the power of gratitude. Whenever you feel disappointed or discouraged, measure yourself as where did you come from to this state. This is called reverse gap. Paying attention to the reverse gap is a perfect exercise in gratitude. Each day, take a few minutes to focus on the reverse gap, that is, what has happened in your life that you're grateful for. Think about 3 to 5 things you're grateful for in your personal or work life. Second blisscipline system is forgiveness. Alpha waves in brain allow us access to higher states of creativity, a more relaxed mind, better problem-solving abilities. However, holding on to grudges and anger is the single biggest factor suppressing alpha waves. So, for anyone who's looking to master blisscipline, forgiveness is key. Make a list of people you feel have wronged you or situations where you've been hurt. Pick one of the people on the list and start the exercise. Step 1. Set the scene first, with your eyes closed, for about 2 minutes or so. Feel yourself in that very moment when it happened. Step 2. Feel the anger and pain as you see the person who wronged you in front of you. Get emotional. Relive the anger and pain. Step 3. Forgive into love. See that same person in front of you, but instead, feel compassion for him or her. Afterward, you should feel a slightly lesser negative charge toward this person. Repeat the process until you feel comfortable forgiving into love. Third blisscipline system is the practice of giving. Giving happiness to others is hugely powerful, lifts up both giver and receiver, and it's easy because happiness is contagious. This brings us to 7th law. Live in blisscipline. Extraordinary minds understand that happiness comes from within. They begin with happiness in the now and use it as a fuel to drive all their other visions and intentions for themselves and the world. When life doesn't hold meaning for us, it's like living in the desert, parched for water. Every extraordinary mind dreams boldly and unapologetically. A good goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. There are 2 types of goals. Means goals and end goals. Means goals don't stand alone but are stepping stones to something else. Also, they are often about conforming to rules. While end goals are about following your heart. They are meant to be happy, to be in love, to consistently feel loving, to consistently feel joyous are all very good end goals. Here are 3 questions that will help you to avoid means goals trap. 1. What experiences do you want to have in this lifetime? We're here to experience all the world has to offer, not objects, not money, but experiences. 2. How do you want to grow? Growth deepens our wisdom and awareness. 3. How do you want to contribute? It is what we give back from the wealth of our experiences and growth. This brings us to Law 8. Create a vision for your future. Extraordinary minds create a vision for their future that is decidedly their own and free from expectations of the culture's cape. Their vision is focused on end goals that strike a direct chord with their happiness. Here starts the 4th part of the book, Becoming Extraordinary. Here author introduces another term. Unfuckwithable, when you're truly at peace and in touch with yourself. 9th law says, be unfuckwithable. Extraordinary minds do not need to seek validation from outside opinion or through the attainment of goals. There are 2 components of being unfuckwithable. First is self-fueled goals. It means you've stopped setting goals for things you think you need to get from other people. Second component is realizing that you're enough. While you can't control what others do, you can control how you react to others. In order to be truly unfuckwithable, you need to lose your need to seek validation or love from others and to judge them when you perceive that they are not giving you what you need. When you plug this hole within yourself and stop demanding that others fill it for you, you actually improve the chances of having the kind of great relationships you long for. Here are some exercises to become unfuckwithable. First is, the person in the mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror and say the words, I love you. Talking to yourself in the mirror is like speaking directly to your own soul. Looking in the eye for extended period of time is uncomfortable. Repeat it and take out it's uncomfortable because it brings out feelings of connectedness and love. Second exercise is self-gratitude, which already discussed earlier in the video. Third exercise is becoming present. Focus on the rising and falling of your breath for 10 seconds whenever you feel tense, rushed, or distracted. It takes your mind off whatever stress, fear, judgment, anger, or frustration you're having with the world or the people in it and forces you to remember who you are and to be present in the now. The most extraordinary people in the world do not have careers. What they have is a calling. How do we define a calling? A calling is your contribution to the human race. It's something that helps us leave the planet better for our children. The key is that when you have this calling, work dissolves. What you're doing excites you. It's a passion, it's meaningful. You'd probably do it for no money, since it's anything but work. Finding your calling starts with identifying your end goals. There is a model of reality emerging that suggests that the universe comes calling, and your job is to listen. It's like nature is just trying to create all the time, and it's looking for people who are awake. Based on this, there are 4 models of extraordinary people. They are, first, extraordinary people feel a unique connectedness and kinship to all life. Second, extraordinary people are open to intuitive insights they attain through this connection. Third, extraordinary people allow their intuition to lead them to a vision that pulls them forward. Fourth, as extraordinary people serve this calling, the universe blesses them with luck. This brings us to 10th law. Embrace your quest. Extraordinary minds are motivated by a quest or calling, a drive to create some positive change in the world. This drive propels them forward in life and helps them to gain meaning and make a meaningful contribution. Here all 10 laws are completed. So, take a step and trust. You'll get some feedback and take the next step. Here we wind up the video. We hope you like it. We shall be back soon with another video. Till then, be happy.